welcome to the Three in the Key podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, joined by Ben and Nav. Guys, say what's up.
What's up, guys?
So, before we start with today's episode, you probably noticed that we didn't have an episode come out on Saturday or on Monday. And for Saturday, we just didn't have anything planned, and we didn't want to rush something together that was just garbage. We were thinking of doing Would You Rather, but we didn't have any questions set up. And then on Monday, we did not put up a video, so we were going to post it Tuesday. But we tried to record it, and we just weren't in sync.
We had a lot of technical difficulties.
Yeah, we had a lot of technical problems.
And Monday was just a busy day because it was Andrew's birthday and stuff. So we apologize for not really being consistent. But starting today, Wednesday, we're going to put out this episode. And you expect
we're going to be back on Saturday.
So we're going to get back on schedule, and we apologize.
Because
but
we're
back, and we're ready.
So anyway, today's episode is going to be a rerun of our first episode. We're going to do updated playoff predictions now that we have seedings, and a few things have changed. The Trailblazers have locked up the 8th seed. The Rockets are the 4 seed, which I think they moved up a couple spots from where they were initially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some players have been hurt. Some teams have played very poorly or very well, and that will change our views on the playoffs.
Yeah, so just basically now we know more information, so we can change what we think. So yeah. What do you guys want to get
And we
into
also have seen all of the game 1s as it is today, Tuesday. We have a couple of game 2s on tonight, so that should be exciting.
Yes. So
hop right into it with the West.
I was thinking we can start with the East, because the West, there's a lot more nuance and a lot more things to get to.
All right, so let's start with the East. The 1 versus 8 matchup: the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Orlando Magic.
So I don't think the fact that the Bucks lost is really that big of a deal. Orlando played a very good defensive game. They had to play a really good defensive game. Giannis still had 30 points, but they held him down pretty well.
And Chris Middleton, that was a very poor performance.
Yeah,
shooting.
the thing is, the Bucks did not make shots last night, and basically,
just like the Lakers, they're not going to miss that many shots when they play.
The Milwaukee Bucks plan, the Orlando Magic's plan heading into last night was just to stop Giannis and to live with their shooters. Because really, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is Milwaukee, they might shoot a lot of threes, but they're really not that great of a shooting team. Most of their of their high caliber shooters are below average. Brook Lopez shoots 31%. Pat Connaughton shoots below average. Giannis obviously shoots below average. Only 4 guys on their roster shoot above average from 3, and one of them is Marvin Williams, who doesn't even get that many minutes. So basically what the Magic did was they just lived with those guys getting open shots. Eric Bledsoe was getting wide open threes on every possession. They were just doing everything to stop guys coming off screens. They were playing really physical. And when Nikola Vucevic was hitting threes, that gave the Bucks trouble, because since Brook Lopez isn't a very fast center, he couldn't really necessarily leave Vooch open, because he went 5 of 8 last night, which is really good for Vooch. And he couldn't stand at the basket he couldn't go outside, because then you have guys like Terrence Ross who can come off screens and just get right to the rim. And they played really good transition defense, the Magic, and they didn't rebound much, and they just held down the Bucks all night. But I expect the Bucks to make more open shots next game. I expect them to play more physically, and I don't expect the Magic to win another game in this series. I think
it's just like the Raptors. They just
in double digits, bro.
Yeah, but even they just came out the Bucks are probably this is gonna be easy. I was looking at Instagram, and all these NBA pages that I follow, they're all making predictions. Not one had the Magic winning a game, all in 4. And then you look at the Raptors Nets series. They had like net Raptors in 6, Raptors in 5, and I'm like, no, it's a sweep. So like, I don't even know. Like everybody thought like, oh, easy sweep for Milwaukee, but Orlando can do this. They did this against the Raptors. I know maybe it was more
is a really
game
good
winner.
coach
It was
and played a
different,
really good
but
fundamental
still.
game.
Yeah, they came out and played that way. But yeah, I do expect the Bucks to bounce back, and I don't think, like, obviously, from our standpoint as Raptors fans and NBA fans that are not Milwaukee fans, we hope they lose, but it's very unrealistic even if they lost game 1. So that's my opinion on that.
Okay.
I expect it to be a 5-game series now.
I would agree.
And
My
I
opinion-
think other than Eric Bledsoe, I think the team will shoot much better and they'll play much better defense.
Yeah.
Anyway, now
Like-
what's your opinion?
It's been a while since Chris Middleton even played, bro. Like he was like he said he hadn't picked up a basketball in 6 months.
The
And he's
Bucks.
been super
Yeah,
bad.
but they've been playing in the bubble for the last month and a half.
And he hasn't been doing much.
Also, just because I'm saying the Magic will lose the next 4 games doesn't take away from how impressive this win was. They did play very well, and I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, clearly the Bucks are not indestructible. Like, they have serious holes.
Yeah, and we saw that in the 2019 playoffs, too, against the Raptors.
Yeah, and I actually think after seeing Milwaukee expose this team's mediocre shooting, I actually think Toronto can do an even better job of that because we have more size, we have more versatility, we have more depth, and we have more experience than the guys in Orlando. So I actually think we stand out far, but like what Orlando did last night, we can take that and we can build on it because we have superior defenders.
That's what I thought that's what we were doing. But we have such good perimeter defenders that not only we just have such good defenders that we can take away Giannis while not also giving up too many open shots. Like obviously it's Giannis. He's gonna create open shots for his teammates. But like even the last season's roster with like Malcolm Brogdon and those guys, they were a better shooting team than they are this season. Especially against Toronto with the way they play.
But also, guys, Milwaukee lost 5 of their seeding games.
Yeah, but they weren't.
They weren't playing the starters. It didn't really matter. Like they lost to the Bucks or the
because they already locked the 1 seed after like the first 2 games, so it's not a big deal.
But like still,
those 8 seeding games had no value to them. Like it was just so that they remembered how to play basketball.
Yeah.
It was really more
Chris Middleton was playing super ass. I don't think he scored more than 20 in any of the games.
Giannis?
No, Chris Middleton.
Yeah, so what?
No. Like I seriously think this could go to a game 7.
Are you kidding me?
Like yeah, I'm not joking.
The Magic
Giannis isn't that good.
So what's your prediction? What's your like overall prediction?
I think Bucks in 6. But I think there's definitely a chance that it could go to a game 7.
That makes no sense because the
Bucks
played really bad.
Andrew, we should move on to the 2-7.
Nobody other than Giannis is playing well on the Bucks, like particularly well. They're playing
okay. So let's move to the 2-7 in the East.
But anyway,
the Toronto Raptors versus the Brooklyn Nets, and the Raptors winning by 24 in the opening game.
Yeah, I was watching the first half, and there was like a 2-minute stretch where we were up by like 30, and we were just running the hell out of this team because they don't have a center that likes to run in transition. Jarrett Allen is a really good pretty good versatile center, but he's mostly just a shot blocker on defense and just a lob threat.
The Nets almost brought that.
Ran the hell out of this team, and we are just more talented, so I don't see this going longer than 5 games. I don't think this series is really a big deal.
It's a sweep.
Yeah, it's probably a sweep, but I think Karis LeVert. I don't think Karis LeVert is just going to fall on his face. I think he'll have a one really good game that'll carry this team to at least.
I think the only game that they have a chance of winning is game 3. I don't know why, but that's just how I feel.
I know, and I feel like Toronto will probably not – I don't think they'll play big mans for their starters. I think Terrence Davis is going to get a lot of runtime in this series.
So what is your prediction? Like how many games?
I'm saying Raptors in 5 because the Nets are not a terrible team, and when they make shots, they're actually a pretty good team. Like
But also, guys. Can So basically, I think sweeps are gonna be a lot easier to like do.
Because home court.
And because there's no home court advantage, so it's just the better.
Well,
team
there
wins.
is. There is
technically, but it's not really important.
It's not as big as it would have been.
But it still is an advantage.
It is a slight advantage, but barely anything that matters.
Like nothing, their play is not going to change because no one's like actually trying to throw you off on each side.
Right. Yeah.
When you're shooting free throws, clutch free throws, like we saw that in a lot of the games. The free throws, everybody's on key with the free throws. Like Donovan hit 13 for 13.
Oh, you're already bringing up Donovan. We'll get to Donovan in a minute.
Well, no, but like that's the game I watched, and I know a lot of people just like the free throw percentages are up.
The shooting percentages are up. It's easier to shoot in a small gym.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point.
Because there's not perception.
Yeah, that, and then there's not like, there's not either. Fans aren't literally screaming at you to.
Maybe that's why the Rockets are stepping on everyone. But anyway, so the 3-6 matchup in the East is Boston and Philly. Right?
We didn't even get to our opinions about the Raptors.
Well, you two think it's gonna be a sweep. I think it's gonna be 5 games. Okay,
right.
I think out of all the series, this one is the least exciting.
I would agree, but as a Raptors fan, it's still exciting to watch.
Like if Brooklyn won the first game and they shot really well and they played really good defense, then like okay, we could have an actual conversation. But like we beat them, we were up by 30 at the half. Like Brooklyn is not the same team they were before the pandemic and before the bubble. But
because half of their players didn't go.
Exactly. So it really doesn't matter. But anyway, the 3-6 matchup is Boston and Philadelphia.
6 games, calling it.
I think it's going to be a 5-game series.
Yeah, actually, 5. Like if they had Ben Simmons, I would be picking the Sixers in 7.
You're nuts because this team still doesn't have any spacing whatsoever. Like this team,
I'm sad to say it, but Boston's going to win. I don't want to play Boston. I don't think it's a good matchup for the Raptors to play Boston in the second round, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, they can throw a lot at our guards, and then, I mean, really inside, we don't have a dominant center. We have big guys.
I mean, Ibaka from time to time.
Ibaka, bro.
Player, but he's not a dominant player. But anyway, so the Sixers are going to have to run through Joel Embiid for the whole series. I think for the rest of the series, he's going to average 30 points, but it ultimately won't matter because Joel Embiid is not so good that even if he plays at his very best, then like you're willing to sacrifice other.
I think Joel Embiid should be one of the most hated players in the NBA. He's so annoying. His personality just makes me.
Okay, but Arnav, that doesn't matter right now, like in the slightest.
I know, but like,
so
I just don't
the
like.
Sixers are gonna have to run Shake Milton at point guard, who I really like. Shake Milton, I think, is a good player.
He's got a nice name.
But he has no playoff experience whatsoever, and he's just a rookie. Or
They're still doing the vlogs.
What?
Matisse? Do they still do vlogs during the game?
Still doing the vlogs. I think he's gonna have 2 more, probably 2 or 3 more, and then by then.
And then they're kicked out.
Yeah, and then they'll be kicked out. Oh shoot, it's Shake's second season. But anyway,
Yeah.
So, the Sixers lost a lot by losing Ben Simmons. They lost a lot of playmaking there, and Ben Simmons is a really, really hard player to guard because he's too big for a big man for a traditional point guard to guard. And
we can play. Raptors can put OG on him.
Yeah, we have that's a fair point. We have OG. Pascal's light on his feet. He's a good defender. And Kyle Lowry's a pit bull, and he can draw charges. So we actually match up well against the Sixers.
That's why I was saying let's play Philly. I'd rather
play Philly, but I mean Philly has nothing going for them. Like Joel Embiid had a pretty good game, and the Celtics.
I got Boston in 5.
I've got Boston in 5. The Sixers just don't have enough of any.
And Arnav, what do you think?
Boston in 5 or 6.
All right. So now to the final matchup in the East. Maybe the most interesting one in the Eastern Conference. Philadelphia, Boston's pretty.
Because
it was going to be interesting, but like.
So the Miami Heat versus the.
Bring out your brooms because it's going to be a sweep.
Miami Heat beating the Indiana Pacers by, I think, 11 in the first game.
Yeah, because Jimmy Butler is a really, 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 really good defender. And
Is this the first time Jimmy Butler's in the playoffs?
Warren the whole game. Like, if there's one man you want on TJ Warren right now,
wait, Andrew, can we just acknowledge what Arnav just said? He just asked if this is Jimmy Butler's first time in the playoffs.
Excuse me, sir?
When was the last time he was in the playoffs?
Last season, Kawhi hit the shot on his team.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting he was on the Sixers, bro.
You understand he's been in the playoffs, like, every year. Every single year.
No.
Oh, yeah, every year. Yeah. Almost every year. I think 1 year he wasn't.
No, well, he was on the Timberwolves, and they made the playoffs.
They did?
Yeah, they did. They were the 8th seed.
No, but he didn't play on the Timberwolves in the playoffs. He played half the season with the Timberwolves. He played the rest of that season with the Sixers.
Oh, no, not that season. The season before. The full season.
He never played a full season with those Timberwolves.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't. He played like 50 games and then got traded.
No, Ben. In 2017.
You're telling me that Jimmy Butler played a playoff game with the Timberwolves?
He did. So in 2017-18, halfway through the season, Jimmy Butler sprained or hurt his knee. I think he had something to do with his MCL. So the Timberwolves at that point were the 4 seed, and they were playing really well. But without Jimmy Butler, they collapsed. They fell to like 10. Okay, they fell to the 10th seed. And so Jimmy Butler came back with like 10 games into the left in the season, and they barely made the playoffs as the 8th seed. So they got like swept and like played bad. And so then the next season starts, and 7 games into the year, Jimmy Butler is frustrated with this team. So like I think by game 15, he was traded.
He did play in the playoffs. Sorry.
He did. There you
did.
go. Yeah, he only played 10 games for Minnesota in his second year.
I think I'm 100% sure that it's gonna be a sweep. Like, I don't see this series going anywhere.
Do you see Miami sweeping Indiana? No.
They barely.
I say 6. I say 6.
I say 6 games as well, because TJ Warren is going to have a.
TJ Warren is not like Jimmy Butler can literally shut down TJ Warren if he wants to.
Well, he won't stop him completely. He averaged.
Yes, he can, bro.
He can't stop him
remember
from
that
scoring.
game? Well, remember during the beef, bro? He had like 11 points. Or 16
oh, so
points.
what? You keep bringing up this beef stuff. It's really stupid.
Who had 16 points?
TJ.
He had 22, 8, and 4. That's a good game.
No. Because Jimmy's not like going full tryhard like he was.
You don't know that. How do you know?
It's a
that?
playoffs, right?
Full tryhard, then
What?
he's shut down, bro. He's shut down. Bro, you can tell Jimmy's not trying.
And the Pacers have a fair bit of weapons. They have Malcolm Brogdon, I believe.
I mean, they don't have Jeremy Lamb,
and
Sabonis, Oladipo.
Oladipo's
could be 5, but I think it's 6.
I think it'll be 6.
It's a sweep. Clean sweep.
Okay, well,
without your brooms.
We both know that's not going to happen, or Ben and I.
I know it is going to happen.
Whatever.
Okay.
So, yeah,
we'll
that's going to be an interesting series. I think it will be a lot closer. Victor Oladipo's not playing, right?
He is.
He is?
I think he is.
Let me check. Let me check the box score.
It was just his eye that got poked out. That's why he left for the game.
What in the hell?
His eye someone poked him in the eye.
He only played 9 minutes because, his eye was removed from his skull.
No, that's
or
not
something along those lines. But you get it.
He couldn't see with his eye. And that's why he didn't even come back.
Anyway, so we're going to move on to the West now because I feel like the East...
Wait, aren't we going to go to, conference semifinals and conference finals?
Oh, shoot. That's right. Okay, so the Raptors versus the Celtics because we all have the Celtics.
Yeah, we all have the Raptors and the Celtics. That's a 7-game series. There's no question.
That's definitely a 6 or 7 game series. Like if we play amazing and like the matchup problems we had in the regular season don't matter, then it could be 6. But I'm almost certain it'll be 7.
I'm gonna say Raptors in 7.
I'm also gonna say Toronto in 7, but
I was gonna say Celtics, but I just think experience and Fred Van.
4 points in the 7th game, bro.
And Kevin and Kemba Walker's has been dealing with this knee problem. It's been bugging him for a while.
Averaging 20 points.
Jaylen Brown got banged up during the Sixers game. Took a shot to the quad from Embiid. This Sixers team is going to be injured. And Gordon Hayward's out, and that's actually like their ace in the hole against us because that's 19 points a game they're losing. But he could come back mid-series because they said 4 weeks. And the Sixers series will be at most 2 weeks.
1 week.
He could come back for game 6 or 7 against Toronto.
Who?
Not really. No. What?
Yeah. Gordon Hayward could come back for game 6 or 7 against Toronto, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Game 6 or 7 against Toronto is going to be almost a month.
He could come back for the conference finals. That's a month. It's not going to last a month and it's not going to the semifinals.
No, I think he could be back 6 or 7.
I agree with that. I think they could bring him back. But I don't think they will because then he has to work himself back in and they don't want to risk injuring him again. So he'll probably, if they make the conference finals.
No one wants to pull a KD, bro. They don't want to pull an NBA Finals KD.
What?
He could be out for the whole season.
Yeah, but KD had an Achilles problem.
What did he have before?
A calf.
Right. Calf. Shoot. Yeah, the calf. Yeah, he had a calf.
Which is basically very similar to the Achilles.
Yeah, like if you have a calf problem, like that should be cause for concern. But anyway, so we have the Raptors in 7. I just think we have so much to throw at them. We can put Pascal on Tatum. He's a good perimeter defender. We can wall up the basket. They don't really have an interior presence. And so we'll be able to get to the rim at will. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum especially, are both very good defenders. And so they're going to have a lot of perimeter defense with those two and Marcus Smart, who could win a Defensive Player of the Year. I think Marcus Smart one day will win a Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, let's move on to the Heat and the Magic.
And the Bucks, bro.
Heat and the Magic.
So, I don't know. I don't think – I see Miami actually has matches up better against the Bucks than Boston because they have solid perimeter defense. And then they have Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is a really, really good defender overall. He can move his feet. He can block shots. He's really big. He's strong. He's a matchup problem because he's so versatile in that end. But the Bucks just have way more weapons.
I think the Heat are gonna win that.
The Bucks have the best player in the series, and I'm not.
The Bucks aren't winning.
You're not picking the Bucks?
The Heat have too many good players, and too many
Yeah, but 3 of their best players are rookies. Ben, what's your take on this?
And they're good. They're good rookies. They're pretty solid players.
Yeah, I think other than Tyler Herro, though, I don't think any of them have proven to me that they can step up in the clutch.
I got Bucks in 5.
I got Bucks in 6.
Bucks in 5. I got
Bucks
Heat
in 6.
Heat in 6.
Well, Ben, Arnav, you're ludicrous. Okay, you don't know anything.
You guys are gonna watch this happen, bro.
Okay,
Bucks in 5. While these things go, we're gonna listen to the podcast and we're gonna hear how dumb you guys sound.
Okay.
So your hot takes so far are
not a hot take, bro.
The Heat will.
Yo, go put that on your overtime app. Go put that on your overtime app.
Giannis is so bad.
And the Bucks.
Giannis is the worst player in the league.
Okay, what is this guy saying?
You have now said 3 dumb things.
No. That was a joke. But the Bucks don't really have anything else right now, unless Chris Middleton can step up. And
there's no reason he can't.
There's no signs of him stepping up right now. He's playing bad.
He's playing bad.
He's just a role player at this point. He's not an all-star.
But anyway,
and you're not winning. You're not going to the conference finals with just Giannis.
We will
especially
see
against
how
Bam Adebayo.
How it goes. Anyway, so now
he's gonna stop Giannis.
So now we have the Raptors and the Bucks in the conference finals. Ben and I.
No, and then Raptors.
And then you have the
is
Heat.
actually gonna happen.
So
That's
if we
actually
play the
what's gonna
Heat, we're going to beat them because we have way more experience, and I don't think Bam Adebayo matches up particularly well with Pascal Siakam.
We're talking about the Heat. It's obviously the Bucks who are gonna make it. If it's Raptors Bucks, I have Raptors in 7, but then whoever the Raptors play in the finals are gonna lose to.
I honestly, if we play
I'm changing my opinion. My last opinion was Clippers Bucks and Clippers in like 7, but now I got Raptors versus Clippers and I got Clippers in 6. Sorry, that kind of just like revealed my entire thing, but I had to.
We'll get to that in a minute. So here's my thing, right? So until that, see, I don't actually know because I have the Bucks and the Raptors in the conference finals. But until the Bucks can prove to me, because to me the Bucks are the better team because they have the best player in the series and they have the best player in the world.
No, bro. How are they the better team? Because you have the
They won the
MVP
most
doesn't
games in
mean
the
you're gonna
regular
win.
season. They won the most games in the regular season. They have the best player in the series by far, and they have proven shooters.
That was a regular season. Like in the bubble, they haven't proven anything, and neither
so
is Chris
what?
Middleton.
The bubble games
Chris
for
Middleton
most
is playing
teams
like
didn't really matter.
actual garbage.
So what? It really does not matter.
It's not the same as the regular season, bro. It's not. If you're not gonna play basketball for 6 months, and then just come back and expect to be an all-star caliber player.
3 months, and they've been playing basketball for the last 2 months.
What?
So yeah,
what are you talking about?
They have been in the bubble for 2 months now.
Yeah,
and he still hasn't done anything.
Oh, so
He's scoring
what?
14 points in a playoff game, bro. That's not okay.
Fine.
He won't be fine, bro.
So are you saying the same things about Anthony Davis now?
Way too much value. You put way
Anthony
too much
Davis
stock
actually
in
did
just
something.
the Bucks.
And Anthony Davis isn't a shooter. He didn't need to practice that much. But
all right,
when you're
so you have the Heat, but we both have the Bucks.
Every day.
So let's just assume it's Bucks versus Raptors. I got Raptors in 7. Who do you guys?
I don't have a pick, but I right now the Raptors have way more going for them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the Bucks are that lackluster that they won't make the conference finals, but the Raptors have way more momentum right now. They had a better 8 games in the bubble, and they were more proven in the playoffs last year, and they won their first game in the playoffs this year. So they have more momentum, and it's also why I think the Blazers series will be closer than people think, but we'll get to that. I'm taking the right now. Until Milwaukee their shooting proves otherwise, I will also pick the Raptors in 7.
All right, so are we ready to head to the West?
Way more momentum.
If it's Bucks versus Raptors, I'm saying 6 and 6. If it's Bucks versus Heat, it's a 7-game series, and the Raptors win.
All right. Let's move to the West with the 1 versus 8. The Lakers versus the Blazers, and in Game 1, the Blazers beat the Lakers by 7. What do you guys think?
I don't even know how to explain this Blazers team. It's not even they're that talented. It's just they believe that they're the better team. And Damian Lillard right now is a man on a mission. He has become the basketball equivalent of John Wick in the last 2 weeks. He has gone ballistic. I think it'll be a 6-game series though, and the Lakers they will eventually play.
The Lakers need to drop Danny Green and drop KCP. They're the worst. They're playing so bad.
You can't drop them in the middle of the playoffs.
What are you?
I mean, after the playoffs.
I listen to you talk, and you.
Whoa! Hold up. Bring up the stats right now.
Okay, they could just be going through a slump, but there's no way they drop them.
That's not a slump. They haven't played good, bro.
In one game,
do you remember
did play poorly in this one game.
Danny Green has been poor all year. KCP had a really bad start to the season.
Here's the problem with the Lakers. This has been a problem since the beginning.
KCP stats last night.
0 for 9 field goals.
Wait, hold on.
1 point.
In 30 minutes, he had 1 point. He was 0 for 8.
We know.
1 rebound, 1 assist in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, that is not acceptable. So they gotta talk to him and get him playing better. They're not going
He's
to
going
drop.
to play better. I'm not. It's
You can't-
one game. The series is not over, and KCP is not going to play garbage for the rest of the the playoffs. Okay.
That's exact. But he's been doing this the whole year, bro.
He had a solid season. He had a decent season overall. Like
9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist.
So what? He shot fairly well from the field, and he's not a playmaker. He's never been a playmaker. He's never been a playmaker.
That is true.
And
He
it
averages.
doesn't really matter if he rebounds as well because they have a really good rebounding team because they have so many bigs. JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, even LeBron, AD, all good rebounders, and they have good solid rebounding guards outside of him. So I'm picking the Lakers in 6, but the problem with the Lakers, this has been the
Lakers in 7.
The problem with the Lakers is that their bench, just does not show up often enough. I think every night they need, 2 of Dwight Howard, Kyle Kuzma. Dwight Howard actually should get way more minutes, by the way. Dwight Howard, out of all their bench guys, has played by far the best. He has played the most efficiently. He has played the best brand of winning basketball in his limited minutes. But Alex Caruso is getting way too many minutes right now. Now, I love the bald Mamba. I think he's the GOAT, okay? But he should not be getting more minutes than all their other bench. He should not be getting the most minutes off the bench right now, okay? That is just ridiculous.
He's been playing well, though. He's been playing consistent.
He's been playing solid, but he's shot pretty poorly from the field. And outside of that, he's been decent. He's just not.
Okay. So I think I have Lakers in 7.
I have the Lakers in 6 games because I just don't think. I'm not going to bet against LeBron in the playoffs. That's why I have the Lakers winning the chip this year. I've said that multiple times that I just think LeBron, all season has led up to this. He's not just going to sit on his hands, right?
So you guys actually think that they should keep KCP? He's a good addition.
It's not like they can just trade him now.
I'm not saying now. I say they need to drop him after the playoffs.
Okay, maybe, but
he's off.
If
not maybe, but
not
he's the
yet.
worst
But he still has what 15, at least 15 more. Well, no, at least 16 more games if they sweep everybody to play.
Yeah,
and
horrible.
Arnav, you're really jumping the gun here.
If he consistently plays like that through the entire playoffs and they lose,
given up on KCP.
No, he consistently played like this the entire year.
But he still had a chance to prove himself.
But that was always the problem.
No, not a few bad games. It was the entire year.
He averaged nearly 10 points on 46% shooting. That's pretty solid as
That's what they want him to do.
That's what they wanted him to do. He did exactly what he was expected to do. Okay, on a reduced role.
Literally any player in the NBA, bro. Any player in the NBA that's going to use those 30 minutes of time on the court.
Not any, but most, I would agree.
Arnav, you're just being ridiculous right now.
Get Zaza Pachulia and he'll play better, bro.
You're absolutely nuts. He had a good season.
He had a horrible season.
He shot 47% from the field.
You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on your team. Get some more than 2 assists a game, please.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
What?
He's never been a playmaker. Okay? Would you expect Dwight
Howard
to average 5 assists a game? Would you expect Dwight Howard to average 5 assists a game? No, because he's not a playmaker, right? He doesn't.
Yeah, but he's a power. He's a center.
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a good spot-up shooter. He's a good player when it comes to getting to the rim. He's got a solid mid-range game.
He just had a couple bad games, and he can bounce back.
Not a couple, bro.
Arnav, if he bounces back, they shouldn't trade him. That's what I'm saying. Okay, we're stuck too much on this topic.
He's off contract anyway. All their guys aren't going to be on contract.
Okay. I have Lakers in 7. Arnav, who do you think is winning?
Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 7.
Amazing.
Okay. So moving to the 2 versus 7. The Los Angeles Clippers versus the Dallas Mavericks. In Game 1, the Los Angeles Clippers beat them. I don't remember by how much, but they won.
They won by
6-game series.
I would agree, and I would say 7 if the refs weren't bogus in Game 1. Like, how do you, like, honestly, like, I feel I'm putting some conspiracy crap out here and saying that they just want the Battle of LA, and the Mavericks are a threat to that because the Mavericks are good enough to beat the Clippers in a
Okay,
seven.
but then they would have rigged it so that the Blazers never made the playoffs because the Grizzlies were never a threat to the Lakers. That was never a concern. But the Blazers, they are a legitimate threat at this point.
No, but how are you meant to? No, it's just a conspiracy. But like, how do you throw Porzingis out? Like, oh my god, that was.
Okay, that was a bad ejection. But
the second technical foul, maybe. The first, no. Like, I don't know.
Like, I mean, to be fair, that was like the one like ridiculous thing. Like, that was a big thing, but like, I mean,
they didn't expect that to happen. But that's a rule.
It was not like the Sacramento Kings, LA Lakers 2002, right? Like, it was not like ridiculous the whole game.
They got into a fight and then he got ejected. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. Like,
No,
he got a technical.
He got technical because he came in as a third party, but even the first technical foul was soft, especially in the playoffs. Like, the second one was
questionable. You should not just eject someone for such a meaningless thing.
No, the first one was the first one was super soft. The second one was questionable.
Yeah, so that's two questionable technical fouls at least.
No, he thought he was like foul or something. I don't know. And then he just like complained to the refs and got mad, and then they gave him a tech.
That's stupid. That's really stupid.
Because people do that all the time.
But anyway, moving away from Porzingis and the technical fouls. So basically, I
have Clippers in 6.
I'm saying this is going to be a 7-game series, and I'll tell you why. So the Dallas Mavericks technically had the greatest offensive season of all time this year. That is not an exaggeration. If you look at the metrics, they had the greatest offensive rating by any team in NBA history. Okay? So they have a really, really, really good offense. Okay? They create a lot of open threes. Luka is amazing. Kristaps, I think, has figured it out. I think Kristaps and Luka has finally figured it out. I always like what I've noticed this year is there have been a lot of growing pains with a lot of these top teams. Like, for example, the Utah Jazz, right? Mike Conley had a really bad start to the year, and that team wasn't too good at the start of the year. Same with the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets were trying to integrate Russell Westbrook, and it hasn't worked until now. The Mavericks had to integrate.
What do you mean it hasn't worked until now? He hasn't played.
Russell Westbrook?
He didn't play in the first game, like, of the playoffs.
No. I mean, it hasn't worked until, like, the bubble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Mavericks have had to integrate Kristaps Porzingis. The Clippers had to integrate Paul George, and that was a struggle at the beginning.
And Kawhi.
But lots of these teams have had to integrate these players, and finally we're starting to see, like, the fruits of Porzingis and Doncic and of this trade. So I think Porzingis is primed to have a really good really good series. I expect him to average, like, 26 and 8. And I think this is going to be a 7-game series because the Mavericks are historically good on offense. And they have a fair bit of pretty solid, reliable role players outside of Doncic and Porzingis. And they've actually done better in the clutch. Like, they've obviously fallen on their faces. Like, 4 times in the bubble, they could have won games in the clutch, and they were up, and then they lost anyway. But I expect them to do better because Luka Doncic is used to these big game scenarios. He played a lot of them in the EuroLeague and for Real Madrid. So I expect him to play very well in the series. I expect Kristaps to do well. I think it's going to be a 7-game series, but the Clippers will win. That's not necessarily the Clippers playing bad. That's just like this is a really, really good 7th seed.
Yeah.
Like, this is a talented team.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, I have them in 6, but I do see why you have them in 7. Okay. Arnav, would you like to make an opinion, or should we move on to the 3 versus 6?
Come on.
Okay, the 3 versus 6. Denver Nuggets versus the Utah Jazz, and Denver won by 10 in overtime, despite Donovan Mitchell's 57 points.
Okay, Arnav, I'm going to let you talk about this first because this is, like, your team, so I'm just going to shut up for now.
Okay, first of all, I kind of, like, the 57 points, I'm not saying it was 100% a fluke, but it's not going to happen again. It was mostly because, like, Bogey's out, and Mike Conley just had a newborn child, and he's out of the bubble, and he's going to miss Yeah, he's gonna miss today's game, but then he'll be back for the rest of the series. So I think I'm not like I'm not saying it. Yeah. So Donovan Mitchell definitely performed amazing and did as much as he could, but it wasn't enough because in the overtime, like he wasn't really getting the ball. Jordan Clarkson shot like
Very
half
poorly.
of the shots.
Yeah, Jordan Clark. I think Jordan Clarkson's overrated.
I don't like games like that where it's like a super entertaining regulation and then the overtime is just like one team just winning. Like I don't find those games entertaining.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me a little bit upset.
It's really deflating, you know? Like
it's like, oh, overtime. It's gonna go down to the wire. Maybe Donovan Mitchell hit a game winner. Nope, they lost by 10.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. So anyway.
Like also Jamal Murray performed like amazingly. He barely missed any shots.
He played a really good game.
He just kept hitting shot for shot.
To the credit of the Nuggets, they played a really good game, and Murray was great. Jokic missed a game winner, but that ultimately never mattered. I don't know. I see. My problem with the Nuggets is that I don't think Jamal Murray at this point. I think I'll give him one more year to prove that he can be a 25-plus point per game scorer. But he's been stagnant for like 2 or 3 years. And so I don't believe he's this like amazing player anymore. I'll give him one more year.
He came in clutch yesterday.
But he has proven that he has shown me more potential than I like because the Nuggets have no playoff experience. Like last year, it took them 7 games to beat the Spurs as the 7th seed, right? Which was just ridiculous. And I think experience really matters when you're playing a team against like Utah that has made the playoffs the last 3 years, or you're playing the Clippers in the second round. Obviously, they have just a juggernaut right now. But the Nuggets actually surprised me a lot. And I actually think if Murray can play like this if they make the second round, then that's a game changer.
I think with Conley back, to be honest, I think this is going to Game 7, but like that's my honest opinion. And then my biased opinion is that the Jazz win that Game 7, but I'm gonna be really honest here that the Nuggets are gonna win that Game 7.
I got Nuggets in 6.
I got Nuggets in 7, but I want it to be the Jazz so bad.
I agree with Ben, and I see where Arnav is coming from. So Donovan Mitchell is probably going to average 30 points for the series at this point. Donovan Mitchell is just going to have to be a monster.
Maybe even 40, bro. Maybe even 40.
No, at this point.
35.
I don't think he'll have another game where he scores over 45. Okay, he's never scored anywhere in the ballpark of 57. Okay, he scored 41. I think his previous career high was like 41 or something.
I want to see him beat MJ's record, but
you have to consider that like he had to carry the hell out of this team. They were playing Juwan Morgan in the fourth quarter. They were playing Juwan Morgan real minutes.
They had a G League player who's never played in the league once starting for their first playoff game of the year.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly just what I said. But
no, you said he was in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they were playing this kid in the fourth quarter. So obviously having Conley back is gonna be good because everyone moves down a spot, and that means you can give more minutes to your starters rather than going deep into your bench because you have Conley back.
They're not very deep. Sorry to interrupt you.
They're not a particularly deep team. And Jordan Clarkson, I think, is overrated. I think he's too much of a ball stopper, and he's not a efficient enough scorer for me to rely on him consistently. Like, he's a fine player, and I'll take him. Like, I think any team can use, like, just a bucket. But I think he's too much of a ball stopper, and they use him too much in the clutch. But Mitchell's going to have to carry the hell out of the series because they did not play particularly well in the bubble, despite – like, here's where I don't get, like, your line of reasoning for this series being so close right now. Like, you say that the Bucks didn't play well in the bubble, and that mattered. That really matters. But the Jazz
not the
didn't
Bucks.
play.
I'm talking about Middleton.
But the Bucks overall, you said, did not play there very well. They went 3-5. That wasn't all Middleton's fault. But
yeah, because Middleton is an all-star.
The Jazz played their guys at the beginning and still didn't play well, right? So, like, you have to kind of pick a side there. I really don't think the bubble games mattered that much for
That's why I was talking about Bogey. It's because we don't have Bogey. Yeah, and that's why we're not going far. in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think Bogey's such a big difference maker because he's an instant offense guy that can make plays, and
he was the clutch. He was our clutch.
He's their
player.
clutch guy. He's their game. He's their guy that
game winner.
hits shots, right?
Yeah, if I think they have,
we're not making it past the second round.
I think they would win the series, but without him,
I think
yeah.
I think with Bogey,
it was not even a question for the game set. It's a game 6 win. And
watch
with Bogey,
pull up with a Nuggets jersey.
Imagine.
Bam,
And I think with Bogey, it could be I think they could have taken out the Clippers, but there was a small chance they could take out the Clippers. But without Bogey, it's not gonna happen. So.
So I think we all picked the Nuggets. I picked them in 6, but it's gonna be I think the Nuggets or the Jazz could push it to 7.
We'll see today. If they win.
5 or 6. I think 5 or 6.
I think
if the Jazz win
would have
today,
to have an amazing series. He would have to average. He would have to become Michael Jordan.
He is Michael Jordan, bro. He is.
Anyway, so now we move on to my favorite series by far and my dark horse, which is the Rockets and the Thunder. So I watched the Rockets game last night. I'm going to talk, okay? Everyone just shut up. So I watched the Rockets.
No one else is talking, but okay.
Okay, so I watched the Rockets last night, and I've watched, I think, pretty much every Rockets game since the bubble started. And that's not an exaggeration. I've watched most Rockets games. So I watched basically the entire game yesterday, starting from the mid-second quarter. And I was astounded by how many wide open threes.
You know what, Andrew? I watched that game too, and I agree with you how many good shots they created.
Here's my thing on the Rockets. So in our first playoff predictions episode, that was before the bubble started, and I did not believe this could work. I did not believe, at a certain point, I believe that you need someone that has an interior presence, and that they wouldn't get open shots because they can just pack that because they don't have, other than other teams will be able to defend the basket, and then every team has at least decent perimeter defenders. So I didn't believe they would get so many shots. I don't even know how the Rockets do this. Now, to be fair, the Thunder did not play a good game. Chris Paul, the offense was just stagnant the whole time, and there wasn't any off-ball movement or anything. And Steven Adams, what's impressed me the most about the Rockets is even when the big men have good games, they still find ways to win. And the thing is, right, the Rockets aren't actually that terrible at guarding big men. To be fair, they're really short, but they have a lot of size. All their guards, from Russell Westbrook to James Harden, Daniel House, PJ Tucker, Ben McLemore, they all have good size. Daniel House is a really big guy. Russell Westbrook, super strong guy. James Harden, very, very strong, great post defender.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker, awesome defender, right?
I was watching this game too with my dad, and we were talking about how they play bully ball, but bully ball on the perimeter.
Yeah, exactly. And they're really good at slowing down perimeter guys. They run out in transition. They create open. Well, no, they don't really run out in transition. But when they go out in transition, they can hit up Ben McLemore. Ben McLemore is their ace in the hole here, right? He's a really good shooter. He's their most efficient shooter, I believe. He was 5 of 6 last night and had nearly 20 points. And if they get just wide open threes on every possession, and that was without Russell Westbrook. I thought they would lose this game because I thought Russell Westbrook was the key to that. I thought without Russ, then this offense would be stagnant. They wouldn't get the shots they need. But they were up by 20 near the end of the third quarter. And they played an awesome game. The Thunder did not play well. And Nerlens Noel, I think the Thunder will make adjustments next game, and I think it'll be much closer and the Thunder could win. They need to play Nerlens Noel more, and he needs to stay out of foul trouble, and Steven Adams needs to play better. Their big men did not play well last night. Nerlens Noel should get more minutes, and Steven Adams has to dominate. He has to average 18 and 10 in this series, and they have to kill them on the boards. There cannot be a scenario. The Thunder cannot afford to give up rebounds to the team that is the worst rebounding team in the league, and they cannot afford to give up this many wide open shots. That's what the Rockets are amazing at, giving up or getting open shots, but they cannot afford to let them just kill them from the perimeter. So I have the Rockets in 6 games because I think Russell Westbrook will be back by game 3. And
That's a
I
5-game
think
series
the
for
Thunder
me.
will win game 2, but then I think the Rockets will win 3 of the next 4.
Yeah, I see
And the Rockets are my dark horse finals contender because they create so many open shots. Like if I had to pick between the Rockets, the Thunder, the Nuggets, or the Jazz, actually really anyone that's not the Lakers or the Clippers, the Rockets to me are the guys that are on top of that dark horse group because they have played amazing. Like their offense has been brilliant. It's a genius system. It really works, and it ultimately does not matter like how good the opposing big men play. I'm just really concerned about them playing the Lakers.
Wait, so you think the Rockets could beat the Lakers?
Here's my thing, right? That could either be a 4-game series for the Lakers or that could be a 7-game series. Like, I don't know. Because the Rockets, they beat the Lakers, but they didn't have LeBron. And the Lakers weren't really coasted through the 8 games, right? So I think I will pick the Lakers. I will pick the Lakers in that matchup. But if the stars align, the Rockets could win that series. It will be a 6-game series to me, though.
All right.
So, do you guys, your opinions on the Rockets Thunder?
I think it's a 5-game series for the Rockets.
I think 5 or 6, yeah.
I'm taking in 6 because the Thunder did not play well last night. They were just standing around and there was no movement whatsoever. And so I expect them to bounce back, but I don't think they'll bounce back to make this series very close. And even with Russ coming, they don't even really need Russ, is what they've proved. Like Harden is able to take over the offense. And their ability to create open shots, like they don't need guys getting a ton of assists. They just need guys that can create open shots. And Eric Gordon had a really good game last night. He shot well coming back. And I'm picking the Rockets.
Yeah. So this is kind of off topic, but I just got a notification or I just read a news headline, and it says that Danny Green reportedly says that he has been dealing with a headache for the past 5 days, which is why he hasn't been playing to his full ability. And he says when his headache goes away, the real me will be back. So I don't know what you guys.
Okay.
He's been playing. He's not consistent whatsoever.
I don't know if y'all believe that, but
he's making excuses, bro.
I don't know. So I don't. Maybe he went back to the afro to mask that. I don't know. That's interesting, but I expected him to bounce back anyway. So he's a veteran and he's a really good shooter.
I see him playing good in one game.
Oh, whatever.
He's always good on the defensive end. That's why he continues to get minutes.
Yeah, that's never been a problem for him. It's just like, can he hit shots? And he's a veteran. He's been through slumps before. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking about the second round now. So Lakers, Rockets, Clippers, Nuggets. So Clippers versus Nuggets. Who are you guys taking?
It's not. Sorry, you're right. Clippers, Nuggets. I got Clippers in 5 or 6.
Same. I think 5 or 4.
So much more of an elite team.
I'm gonna say Clippers in 5.
I'm gonna say Clippers in 6.
Okay. Because the Nuggets don't have the
6 and
experience.
5.
Like the Blazers beat the Nuggets last year in 6 games, and the Clippers are away.
No, sorry, 7, Andrew. Yeah.
But I'm taking the Clippers, and I don't even think it's close.
All right. And then on the other side of the bracket, Rockets, Lakers.
I'm taking. It's either going to be a sweep for the Lakers or it's going to be a 7-game series. But I'll just.
What?
Yeah, because the Rockets could play well, and this could work against the Lakers. But the Lakers have one of the best big men in the league, and that's a really bad matchup for the Rockets. So
I say Lakers in 6.
same. I'm gonna split it down the middle, but it could go either way. I really don't know. But I'm gonna say Lakers in 6.
All right, Arnav. It might not be here.
Yeah, what the hell happened to you now?
Oh, Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5? Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think we all agree that just this is not a particularly good matchup for the Rockets. And I actually think the Clippers is an even worse matchup because Kawhi and Paul George are both amazing matchups for Harden. And they have the necessary perimeter defense to stop their shooting.
Yeah.
So I think the Clippers could sweep them.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay. So then the
our conference
Battle of
finals
LA.
matchup there is the Clippers versus the Lakers.
Okay, so the Battle of LA. Let's just make it quick because I know it's going to be a long episode. And I know you guys don't agree with me, Clippers in 7.
I'm taking the Lakers in 7, but I'm becoming less and less confident in this team every single day. Like it's hard for me to say that the Lakers are going to win when every single day there's something wrong. Like Kuzma and AD played bad last night. KCP played bad last night. LeBron was the only player that played awesome.
But
they need 2 or 3 guys off the bench every night to step up and play better than.
Well, also their second star has to be the second
And Anthony
star.
Davis always has to play well for this team to do that. But I think that this team has the capability to do that. I think they could do that. And that's how they have to beat. That's what they have to do to beat the Clippers. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No.
But I haven't seen it enough for me to be 100% confident. I was 90% sure the Lakers would make the playoffs before.
Okay, so I'm gonna say my final championship prediction.
Wait,
So I have Clippers Raptors. I think you guys have Lakers Raptors. I got Clippers winning the championship in 6 games.
I've got the Lakers winning the championship in 7 games.
Same. I agree with
But
that.
I think the Bucks, until they prove otherwise, won't make the finals. But they can.
They won't even make the conference finals.
Okay,
Good
now.
and all, but whatever.
All right. So because this episode is going to be a long one, we should wrap it up pretty soon. So thank you all for watching. Hope you liked our prediction.
Thank you guys for watching.
If
If you
Donovan,
agree, disagree, leave it in the comments below.
Leave in the comments your opinions.
And also, go in the Discord server. I mean, go into the
Discord,
description.
Go
in the description and join our Discord server.
Yeah. Join the Discord.
Yeah,
And
link in the
see you
description.
next time on 3 and the Key.
Donovan Mitchell's the GOAT.